Desire doesn't come from chasing or convincing. It forms in the space where attraction meets the unknown. Most men destroy desire before it ever has a chance. They pursue, they explain, they try to prove their worth like a resume handed to someone who never asked for it. And in doing that, they activate the exact psychological response that guarantees disinterest. This matters far more than most people realize. The ability to spark desire isn't a dating trick. It's a core understanding of human psychology that shapes every interaction you'll ever have. How people see you, how they react to you, how you linger in their memory. Once you understand what actually generates attraction in the female mind, you stop performing. You stop bargaining for affection. You stop living in the exhausting contradiction of wanting someone while trying to prove you deserve them. This is about reclaiming a masculine frame that doesn't beg for validation. Most men live their entire lives in psychological debt. Always owing, always proving, always behind. They walk into interactions already defeated, already operating from scarcity, already signaling through every word and gesture that they are less than. And women sense this instantly, not consciously, not logically, but through something deeper and older, a visceral detection system that assesses competence, strength, and safety in milliseconds. You can't negotiate with this system. You can't argue your way into desire. You either activate it or you don't. Let's look at what actually happens when a woman encounters a man she isn't initially drawn to. Her default state is neutrality, not attraction, not rejection, just autopilot. She processes you the way she processes a stranger in passing, functional, transactional, no emotional investment. Here's where most men make their first mistake. They interpret neutrality as rejection, and they respond by increasing effort, more attention, more compliments, more displays of interest. They believe that if they communicate their value clearly enough, she'll finally recognize it. But the female brain doesn't assign value that way. Behavioral psychology shows that value is not attached to what's abundant, but to what's uncertain. When you chase, you erase uncertainty. When you constantly show interest, you become predictable. And predictability kills desire. The neuroscience is clear. The chemical associated with wanting doesn't spike when the reward is received. It spikes in anticipation. In the space between stimulus and satisfaction, when you pursue, that space disappears. Every love story ever told follows the same pattern. Distance, obstacle, uncertainty, longing, the ache of not having, the tension between desire and delay. Women don't want what's already secured. They want what might slip away, what isn't fully available, what can't be controlled or predicted. This isn't manipulation, it's biology. It's the architecture of human desire that's existed for hundreds of thousands of years. So let's talk about what actually works. Not tricks, not tactics, but a fundamental shift in how you show up. If she isn't interested right now, it's not because you lack value. It's because the conditions for desire aren't present yet. Those conditions are specific. She needs to feel that you don't need her, not cold, not dismissive, but grounded in a life that is complete without her. Most men do the opposite. They rearrange their schedules around her availability. They reply instantly. They cancel plans when she's free. They make her the emotional center of their world before she's earned that position. And she feels it. The pressure, the expectation, the unspoken contract that says her role is to validate you. That pressure suffocates desire. Attraction needs space. It needs the possibility that you might not be available, that your attention isn't guaranteed, that you have gravity of your own. Think about the last thing you truly wanted. It wasn't handed to you. There was risk, uncertainty, the chance of loss. That's the psychological state you need to create. Not through games, not through fake distance, but through genuine investment in your own life. Mission, purpose, standards, boundaries, all existing independently of her. When she senses this, something changes. You're no longer another man seeking approval. You don't fit the usual pattern, and her attention shifts. Here's where men get it wrong. They think indifference means coldness, rudeness, cruel distance. That's not indifference. That's insecurity pretending to be strength. Real indifference is calm. It's emotional self-sufficiency. You can be warm and present in the moment without tying your self-worth to her response. You're engaged when you're together. But when you're apart, your mind isn't orbiting her. You're not checking your phone. You're not running scenarios. Women can sense emotional dependence instantly, in texts, in eye contact, in energy, and it repels them at a biological level. For thousands of years, survival depended on choosing men who could handle uncertainty, who stayed steady under pressure, who didn't collapse when outcomes weren't guaranteed. Neediness signals the opposite. It signals weakness, instability, a lack of safety. So you must detach from outcome, not as a strategy, but as a philosophy. You engage because the interaction is enjoyable, because the moment is worthwhile. But if she disappears tomorrow, your life doesn't fall apart. This frame creates desire. Now, the mechanics. When she pulls away, your instinct is to chase harder, to fix things. Resist that urge completely. Instead, withdraw your attention naturally, not as punishment, simply as a redirection of focus. You stop initiating. You stop being endlessly available, and suddenly, something shifts. The moment you stop chasing, you stop being predictable. That change registers instantly. Her mind starts asking questions. Why did he stop? What changed? Did I misjudge him? Those questions are the beginning of desire. Now she's thinking about you. Now she's checking. Now she's reaching out. The dynamic reverses. But this only works if it's real. If you're still secretly hoping, she'll feel it. Strategy leaks through energy, and it kills attraction. You have to genuinely let go. Redirect toward your life, your purpose, your growth, other opportunities. Become unavailable because you actually are. Here's a truth most men avoid. Women are attracted to men other women want. When she sees that you're desired elsewhere, your value recalibrates instantly. You're no longer chasing. You're being chosen. This triggers biological competition, not emotional jealousy, evolutionary assessment. This is why interest returns when you move on. Why indifference flips to curiosity. You don't announce it. You don't brag. You simply live. You're social. You're surrounded. You're engaged with life. She notices. She sees that your world doesn't revolve around her, and curiosity replaces certainty. At the core, attraction is polarity. Masculine presence draws feminine energy when it's grounded and authentic. If she isn't interested, it's often because polarity is missing. You're reactive, seeking approval, over-accommodating. There's no grounded center. So you reclaim it by doing 3 things. First, stop reacting emotionally. Stay steady regardless of her shifts. Second, lead. You decide direction and invite her along. Third, hold boundaries. You respect your time and walk away when standards aren't met. This creates polarity, and polarity is magnetic. Here's the paradox. The willingness to lose her is what makes you attractive. And finally, accept this. Not every woman will desire you. That's not failure, that's compatibility. The goal isn't universal attraction. The goal is alignment, becoming the man who doesn't chase, convince, or perform. The man whose presence speaks for itself. When you reach that point, some women from the past may return, and you may not even care anymore, because you'll have access to women who chose you without hesitation. Desire can't be negotiated. It can't be earned through effort or logic. It can only be triggered through self-possession, polarity, and the willingness to walk away. If she isn't interested now, those conditions simply aren't present yet. And they don't appear by changing who you are. They appear by becoming more of who you already are. The man beneath the need, beneath the fear, beneath the performance. The man who lives in his purpose and lets women enter his world on his terms. That's the man women desire.